Podcast Mentor Tournament. Today's race will feature Hawke59, mentored by DeepFried87, against T-Mobile1990, mentored by Crackerito88. I am Arya Stark, 2942. I'm joined on comms by MrAngryPants. How are you today, Pants?
I'm doing good. It's a Friday, done with work, 3-day weekend, get to watch some Rando. Can't really complain.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. This mentor tournament's great. I mean, coming off it last year ourselves, it's pretty awesome to see the new crop come in. And Hawke has also participated in the mentor tournament before as well. But it's always really fun to watch newer runners and runners just trying to improve their game. Get the chance to play and get restreamed, which is always exciting.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm familiar with Hawke. We were on the same league team last year, so I know he's coming in really looking to push himself. In his first race that he had, he gambled on a dark Aga Tower. And was able to pull it off pretty quickly, which was great to see. The gamble didn't pay off, but it was good to see him pushing himself. I'm not familiar with T-Mobile, but I think should be a good race regardless.
Yeah, for sure. T-Mobile's another newer runner. I do recognize the name from Ladder. He's played a little bit thus far. And this is his first match here in the Mentor Tournament. This is open 7-7, open settings, no starting weapons or anything. So players are going to have options and routing decisions right off the bat that can affect things.
Yeah, as I've been telling my mentees, there's kind of three main starts that you could do. Either doing Sank, going over to the Lost Woods in Kakariko. You could start at Link's house and go south to do the 50-50 bomb bushes and work your way north. Or you could do an Uncle start. So I'll be, hopefully we'll get lucky and we'll get to see some divergence here early and get to call out a bunch of checks.
Yeah, as you know, there's a lot of options right off the bat, and it's interesting to see what are the mentees' preferences, what are the mentors' preferences. Those are the kind of things you wind up finding out after the race sometimes. But there's pros and cons to a lot of openers, and one of the best pieces of advice I got last year was, don't get locked into one thing. Try out a bunch of different things and see how they feel. Because again, there's pros and cons. Resource management is pretty important. Information gathering is really important when you're a newer runner. But I'm very excited to see how these two runners play today, and we're lucky enough to be joined on tracking by Phyrie, and SoLastSummer is handling this restream so that again these runners can get on the big stage right away.
Absolutely, and it looks like we are going here, and we have Uncle starts for both of them with early bombs, so that's good to see. Or I should say Link's house starts, but now they're showing us they're heading up towards Uncle. So I always encourage picking up the signs so you can get this tier 1 tree pull right off the bat. Hoping for maybe some rupees or more bombs. I've made sure, so I'm my favorite thing is to get bombs and actually go do a bomb front of escape. But we'll see if either of these racers decide to go that route. Oh, but we got a sword.
Oh, that's definitely nice.
And it looks like T-Mobile decided to save and quit, and Hawke is going to continue on to front of escape with that sword.
Yeah, I like using that front of escape. You're already there, and you have a weapon to pretty cleanly clear that.
So T-Mobile is now heading up towards the Lost Woods. One second here, we're having just a brief bit of technical difficulties.
Looks like the feed's come back for us.
Yep. Apologies about that. We had lost our feed in Discord. So we have T-Mobile finished out in the Lost Woods and is heading into the town, with Hawke heading down to Zelda's cell here. One thing to keep in mind, that Zelda's cell is locked by the Hyrule Castle small key. So that means that there's no item there, so it's or no trackable item there, so it doesn't matter. But it's always a good thing to keep in mind that if you were to find something there, you have to know that it's locked either by the lamp, fire rod, or power glove, if the key's in the back.
Yeah, that's a good point. It looked like Hawke only... I don't know. No, apparently a glove was found at some point by Hawke.
Yeah, so that is a good find, so he can rush to the back here.
Also came away with $300 while T-Mobile found the pearl in the back of Blindside.
Yeah, we have the cape in the back of Escape. I think Hawke will find that. We'll find that pearl if the other glove. Oh, the other glove is in the well. So, so long as Hammer is our Dark World access, it might be a minute before T-Mobile makes it to front of Escape to find that second glove. So, this has the potential for to be interesting here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hawke making his way to Darkfrost, knows that there is an item there. A couple of dark rooms that are a little bit challenging when you're starting off, but with some repetition, you start to get the feel for it. There actually aren't that many things within the back of Escape that do a ton of damage to Link. It's just, especially Darkfrost itself, can get a little bit tricky.
Yeah, those ropes back there can get you if you're not careful. Looks like we had a Master Sword pulled out of the back of the tavern on T-Mobile's side. And we head into the library, which is an ice rod. Well, there's a good chance we're going to have to come back for that.
At the very least, it's knowledge. You know, if you do find out Turtle Rock is a crystal, you know where Ice Rod is, you're going to need to find boots at that point, but you're not going to have to go hunting for that, at least.
A blind check of the race game is just 20 rupees. I always encourage my mentees to go for the blind check. If it's anything needed, you've saved time, and if it's anything that's mildly good, you're just going to go grab it, and it will help you out. And if it's nothing bad, you do lose a little bit of time, but it's a gamble I like to make.
Yeah, there's definitely upsides to either way, especially I tend to make that general call also based upon what other items do I have. Am I short on weapons outside of bombs for like the mini Moldorm cave down in South Shore, or if you got a Master Sword here and that's not really a worry, there's definitely much less drawback to a blind check there. Because as you say,
Yeah.
if it's something, you got it, you don't have to backtrack.
Yeah. And T-Mobile heading down to South Shore while Hawk runs into Kakariko. Couldn't remember the name of the village for a second there. This will be interesting to see with Hawk if he rushes Dark World here. He will have Dark World access coming in as soon as he pulls those mitts out of the well. But I don't. Oh no, we have seen a map check, so we do have 3 crystals in the light world.
Yeah, that really immediate Dark World access can sometimes feel a little bit scary too, because it's so inviting. There is so much of this world that the players have not explored yet.
Absolutely, yeah. It's and I mean, we hear it all the time. Mid-Dark World access is pretty terrible. But that said, I think I could definitely see making the argument to do it because you're right there. Different story if you were to get access, say down in South Shore with pets. You don't have any place you can go right away.
T-Mobile coming away with a bow here in Mini Moldorm Cave, along with nearing Zora Money, not quite.
Yeah, that's only a couple of trips into the cave under the rock over by Ice Rod Cave, though. He's close enough, I think. If you're gonna make this walk over there and not save and quit, that you just go in there, and I think you only have to farm it twice with the current money.
Yeah, in this situation, no boots, no flippers. I probably would be staying away from the Zora area here, given that you'd have to walk back down and set up the fake flipper. Especially with the eastern area now looking a lot more inviting.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with that too. I think I actually would have even considered skipping out on Ice Rod Cave after finding that bow. But yeah, we get the save and quit, so seems T-Mobile and Crackerito are kind of on the same page as us.
And T-Mobile is going to head over to the eastern area. We will see if he opts for Saha first prior to heading into eastern.
Yeah, I think in an instance like this where you don't have lamp or fire rod, I would be totally and Eastern's not the green pendant. I think hitting going into Saha just makes the most sense. If you pull the lamp or fire rod, then that at least puts the boss into logic for you, and you know at that point.
Yeah, provided that the big key is not vanilla, but yeah, I definitely agree. You get the info that ice is the green pendant, but yeah, give yourself again every edge here to, especially if you're a newer player, to get something that can potentially make Eastern a little more comfortable.
Yeah, and we'll I'm gonna guess with T-Mobile heading into Eastern. Oh no, actually Eastern is a pendant. I just checked, the tracker got updated for us. So I'm gonna guess this is probably just gonna check for the items and probably not go to the boss.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And again, obviously, T-Mobile hasn't been to the front of Escape, doesn't have that other glove and the immediate Dark World access. So if you're coming over here, again, I think it's justifiable to come to this area, do Saha. If it's really nothing, leave. But also a quick dive could spike an item that is pretty important.
Yeah, I think I doubt we'll see Hawke head to Eastern even after finding this bow, because he does have the Dark World access, so I would anticipate. Well, and Hawke does have the Zora money, so we could actually see the walk down to do the fake flipper. But definitely heading over towards Ice Rod Cave at least. Now, I don't know about you, Arya, but having helped out some of the mentees here, I cannot wait till they get to do some Kaz boots, and we get to go fast from the start.
Oh yeah, I certainly agree with that. That's a pretty exciting addition this year.
So Hawke actually decided to skip out on Ice Rod Cave and do the fake flipper. So we're getting the man under the bridge check here, and I anticipate will be another fake flipper to go down to Zora area.
Oh, good, a mushroom.
Just what everybody wants. Yeah, this one. This fake flipper I know can be a little tricky, because you actually want to get at a spot that's a little farther. It looks like you're farther away, but when you jump off, it sends you flying out further. Hawke is a little too far to the right for that, but
not off by much. But yeah, it's both precise and imprecise.
Yep,
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that was it. I was gonna say the lineup I use is there in that column that was right above him, above his avatar. You want to kind of line up with the front of your sprite in the line of them in the middle of that column, and then just try to find that pixel that has you a good couple pixels away from the edge of the water, and then you jump in.
Yeah, Hawke did give us a look there at Lake Hylia Island, just 50 rupees that neither player is likely to pick up. And T-Mobile has only found rupees thus far from what I saw, and is making the play to the back of Pendant Eastern here.
Yeah, looks like having a little trouble finding that Igor. Gonna reset the room. Yeah, this is the best thing to do here is if the room just gets a little too crazy for you, just go reset it. And there found the Igor with the arrows. There we go.
He just didn't want to wake up.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, that pod in the top left of the room can be a little tricky. I believe we actually just saw Flute on Zora Ledge, though. I just briefly caught it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an interesting situation here. There's obviously no flippers, but splash deletion is... Oh, but Hawke does not have any bombs.
Oh, yep. So the knowledge will be good, and I think... well, it has some bombs now. So
you got one look at it.
Yep. And it looks like they are Hawke and Deep Fried are going to go give it at least a shot. I like this. Like you just got the resources, give it a go. Yeah, this is chat's pointing out that if you can get it, this is not a freebie. You gotta move fast, and you gotta shoot fast. You gotta drop the bombs fast, and you gotta move into that water fast.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if I had come there with bombs with that water walk state, I might have actually bypassed Zora and attempted that splash deletion, because it's way easier in a water walk state.
Yeah, and we had the Armos Knights got killed by T-Mobile. for I believe it was it was nothing of importance. Yeah, we can see. Yeah, so what happened there was the first bomb got dropped into the water, and you to do the splash delete you need both the bombs that you set down. So the way that works is you shoot 3 arrows into the wall as fast as you can, and then you need to turn back to the shallow water to drop the 2 bombs as you walk down towards the deep water and the waterfall. And if you do it fast enough and your ancilla is not broken, then you will fake flipper into the water and then off the waterfall.
Yeah, as you noted though, I do like the fact that Hawke was willing to give it a shot right away, and at least make that attempt. Because heck, if it pays off, even if it's something that he's picking up on the fly, then that's a great early advantage.
Yeah, getting that flute early would be really huge. And we get a bottle off of the mushroom. So Hawke did set up a save scum there. It looks like they might be debating if they want to scum it. No, they're just gonna buy a blue potion. But did set up the save scum with the mushroom, where you do a save and quit right before turning it in. So if it turns out to be nothing, you still have the mushroom for the ability to fake powder later on when you get the Cane of Samaria. And it looks like T-Mobile made the decision after that pendant Eastern to go into the front of Escape, and we'll be getting his mitts here in just a second.
Yeah, they actually picked them up in the first chest.
That is right. They were not in Zelda's cell.
Yeah, T-Mobile pretty much only had, I think, this and Agina. Neither player has made that trip to the desert area yet.
Yeah, we had, and then 2 out of logic gross checks on the mountain, which nobody's got time for that. Sick Kid just giving us a piece of heart, and we're gonna be getting both our runners into the Dark World right about the same time here. So we have a race on our hands, as they say.
Yeah, Hawke's checked a few things out of logic. We've Pendant Ice, Pendant, Skull, 5/6, Mire, and Swamp.
Yeah, that's an interesting layout. As soon as we get flippers, we'll have access to Mire area, and I like this. I like this play up here, especially to Pendant Skull. Get the front of Skull done, and then you just hopefully never have to come here again.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with Mid's Dark World access, you're likely working your way down to Hype Cave, and if you go straight into the village, it's pretty easy to forget about these things.
Yeah, it definitely can lead to an orphan. And we have Hawke did a really nice setup there to avoid the Gibdos, and T-Mobile in the same room decided to kill them, and paid off with the big key. So it's not nothing.
Yeah, and again, this room is also one that's pretty easy to ignore. You hop into that front of Skull, maybe find an item. It can sometimes be a tough call whether to even come here or bypass it, but I do like the fact that both players went here first. You're going to be able to grab a key, guarantee that you can make your way through the front, especially since you're heading south out of here as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Stealing the key so you don't have to worry about a drop down, and you can just make all the checks you need without doing any additional backtracking. Hawk has taken a drop down anyway, so. Oh, he needs to farm for bombs. That's exactly what he's doing. So this is something that you definitely learn definitely when you play inverted, is that there are 2 bombs under those pots there that are accessible right at the beginning of inverted seeds. So. And we've just found our first logical bottle, so Hawk's.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Hawk's pretty well set up with that blue goo and that green goo now.
And a red boomerang from T-Mobile that Hawk's about to pick up too, and that's both items here. So Pendant Skull with stuff that's definitely going to be helpful, not progression, but early in a seed, you're not going to turn down a free stun weapon and some safety.
Yeah, I think being our first stun weapon, yeah, nobody's going to be sad to see the red boomerang, and it can be beneficial. Not as good as the blue boomerang in Ganon's Tower, but it's better than nothing.
And you did make note of, you know, Hawk's setup for that middle room in fun hammer.
Yeah.
Hey, early cape.
Yeah, the early cape is going to pay off for him here. I don't remember where we got the cape from, but that's going to make some change to some routing decisions. And as you see here on their side, this is accessible without hookshot. You can just walk to the left and lift up those pots there. I would not be against, honestly, a save and quit here to go do Hype Cave and then work your way north that way. But it looks like both of our runners are working their way back. T-Mobile must have got hit by some of the murder dactyls, and they even on blue mail still do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, the skull area especially was one that I know when I was first starting off was especially daunting. You have a lot of tough enemies within the dungeon. You've got the murder dactyls, the aggressive guards outside. It's very easy to be defensive. So that's a thing that, again, with additional reps, you know, the players are going to get more comfortable with dealing with this area.
Yeah, and it looks like T-Mobile might be farming for a heart or two here. Oh, it got hookshot.
I think he inadvertently left after the first test.
Okay, I see. Well, it's a good thing you went back in, because that hookshot is something we need.
Yeah, that would be definitely nice to have. I especially would like it, you know, coming in here into Thieves Town. No boots. It does help you get around a little bit faster within this dungeon, though.
That is for sure. This is one of the worst dungeons to not have boots in.
Yeah, so many straightaways, so many exploitable dash lines, and to have to slowly plod your way along, especially when, again, players are still on relatively low health, only 6 hearts apiece.
Yeah, that is definitely a concern. But we have sorry, I was just watching the movement there. So that's I believe 2 items out of the front.
I think you're correct. Yeah, 2 items, 2 keys, I believe.
Yep, so 2 items in the back, but it's a crystal, so I know I'm a proponent of regardless if I have hammer, I will always go beat a crystal thieves town. That's like I am completely willing to lose to something being in Thieves Town big chest.
Yeah, I usually tend to be pretty much the same way. Again, especially with its Dark World access. Oftentimes, Hammer will be on your way south or somewhere off of that route, but to completely bypass the back, it feels often sometimes like it would be more penalizing. Nothing's an absolute in this game, though, which is something that's pretty great about it.
That is true, and as Chat's pointing out, our stun prize is a Phyrie, so we have that extra built-in safety for this seed and this seed only until there's the next seed that has Phyrie. But that is especially with this low heart count, that Phyrie is going to be really beneficial. And we see just up in the attic is 10 arrows. One thing to keep in mind with that attic room, it is faster to go and throw the bomb to blow up the floor first and then go collect the item. It's just something to keep in mind for any newer racers that might be looking to do some small time saves that don't carry a lot of risk with them.
Yeah, that's a great point. In that room especially, that one can be pretty daunting because the crickets do pretty solid damage even on blue mail, especially with green mail on T-Mobile side. And it's very easy to get defensive, want to get those things out of the way. And again, with repetition, with comfort level, things definitely get easier over time. And you sometimes still have those situations where muscle memory takes over.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the crickets, I believe, do 2 hearts on green mail and 1 heart on blue. So yeah, it's not an insignificant amount. I mean, when you're looking at 6 or 7 hearts, 1/6 of your life is nothing to blink at. All right, we have T-Mobile is about to go into the blind fight, and the 3rd bottle was there in the big chest. So no progression in Thieves Town for us other than the crystal. But T-Mobile starting off with the first 3 hits of the blind script and looks to be going pretty good there on the second. Had a little bit delayed on the third strike of the second. Has the cape at the ready though, and finishes it off with only getting hit twice. That's a pretty solid blind fight right there.
Yeah, blind slipped a little bit on that 6 hit. It looked pretty decent from my vantage point, but just narrowly missed. But T-Mobile did a great job of cleaning that up. And again, to newer players, sometimes blind's going to get off script. Hawke here pulled out the cape when things got a little hairy. Don't put yourself at risk. Finish off the fight. Dying definitely takes longer than trying to be super precise.
That is absolutely right. Use the safeties you have, and the thing I will say is don't be like me. Just learn the blind script. I didn't learn the blind script until after the mentor tournament because I was stubborn. But it definitely it's definitely something that makes it so, like, both of these runners, because they knew the script, even though they got a little bit off of it, were able to go through and beat a 6 heart Thieves Town. So if you don't know the script, it's a lot harder to survive blind on just 6 hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the route that both of these players took has actually probably worked out about as well as it could for both of them. Just finding that hammer on bumper ledge took out any potential worry about what we now know was an item in the big chest. So they don't have to worry about coming back to Skull Woods unless some wild thing happens and it's a pedestal seed. They don't have to worry about coming back to Thieves Town. They can proceed on this route south and see where pretty much where Hype Cave indicates, and what decisions need to be made after that.
Yeah, I imagine we're probably either going to see the flippers or the lamp really soon. I actually would anticipate the flippers fairly soon, because that's going to give us the mountain access through the flute, which, well, so we get the mirror. Well, I anticipate we'll go see K45 really quick.
That's the time to find that.
Yeah, that is actually we might even see some Smith chain get done here. Yep, that is exactly where Hawke's going. I think that's a good call, since you're probably going to walk down to K45 and Stumpy, so you can take the purple chest with you, and T-Mobile is following suit. So right now we got some linearity happening. I actually anticipate if we see those flippers, it could lead to, especially if we see the flippers in, say, like Hype Cave, that could lead to some possibly some divergence. I'll be interested to see if they go right into Swamp Palace, or if Hawke decides to go get that flute first.
Good job by T-Mobile there, going back for that sick kid check. So obviously they picked up their bottles later than Hawke did, so no mirror to immediately check on that. But that's an easy thing, especially when you're a newer player, when you're getting items somewhat unexpectedly, to kind of forget things that could actually tie back into your route. And that's a good thing to not have, again, sitting on the back boiler as a potential thing that is problematic down the road. And there's the flippers, you call them.
There it is. Yep. Yeah, I imagine with Hawke, we'll at least see Hawke finish out this this purple chest. Well, so here's something I actually might have proposed is abandon that purple chest and just go activate the flute, because it would be faster to do the purple chest later. And you know, have full transparency that it would be a gamble for that, but and we have Keebs in chat, who is a league teammate of Hawke's mentor Deep Fried. So he is predicting we will go straight into Swamp.
I mean, that would definitely be an entertaining play. It is a 5/6 crystal. It's pretty alluring, but yeah, I think I'm absolutely pretty much where you are right here, Pants, in saying Hawke has the knowledge of that flute that T-Mobile does not. Obviously, he doesn't know that T-Mobile doesn't know it, but I would want to maximize that as much as I can, because the entirety of the mountain is in logic with with that flute.
Yeah, that's you're talking about almost 20 checks on the mountain, I think, right now. But yeah, so yeah, to answer chat, Hawke has knowledge that flute is on Zora Ledge, and there's our lamp too. But with Hawke walking out makes me believe that that he's going to go. Well, no, actually, is this a play?
I would guess this is going to Zora area.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Since you're already halfway there and you can just mirror.
Yeah. Meanwhile, T-Mobile is making the swamp call.
And I think I think that, like, with the knowledge that T-Mobile and Crackerito have, going into Swamp is the play. You know, it's 6 checks. It's a red crystal. it really makes sense. And actually, what we see here is they Deep Fried and Hawk are going to go knock Catfish out of the way before going to Zora. So this is a great routing decision here.
Yeah, that's a very good job of game knowledge of that
Yeah.
whirlpool. That's a thing that, you know, comes up a lot more frequently in like entrance rando and stuff like that. But utilizing that to get right up here to the Catfish area, which is a check that can, especially after Flute, fall by the wayside pretty darn easily.
Yeah, I mean, I despise Catfish as a check, and I would not have thought of this because I don't want to see that gross fish. So, but yeah, to answer your question, Keebs, nope. Hawk did not go into Swamp and made the play for the Flute. And we have T-Mobile making his way here into the heart of Swamp. And I missed what the first check was though in Swamp.
They got a map.
There's a map, okay.
Yeah, which obviously guarantees at least one item on left side Swamp.
Yeah, I think if T-Mobile's comfortable with the bomb diver down, I would consider making the play to go do it, which looks like T-Mobile is not, but still going to do left side Swamp.
Yeah, this early, I would probably advocate for being thorough here, because Swamp, again, it's a 5/6 crystal, but you really don't want to have to come back. It is going to be a very late location check if you do.
Yeah, well, and you know, again, we go back to the knowledge. Well, they do have lamp, but they don't have the knowledge of the flute, which can, you know, makes every check faster almost. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, especially when you know at least one item's going to be over there, the left side Swamp play is not a bad play at all.
I don't believe, you know, T-Mobile did not raise the blocks back up though.
No, that let's see. It looks like Crack Reader or T-Mobile, one of them caught the blocks, not back up.
That's good. I mean, again, who hasn't made that mistake? Get to left side Swamp, go shot, and be like, oh, hello, orange blocks.
All right, and this I love a early Mire area check. If you I like going to the Mire area as soon as I have access, especially if Mire is a crystal. You get 2 or 3 quick checks, and you get knowledge of the medallion requirement, which was Quake.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. You have all the mobility with that flute, with the mirror. You're getting, as you said, information, items, depending on how aggressive you want to be, to also potentially give a look as to whether Desert is boots locked too, which it looks like Hawk is going to make a check for.
Yeah, I think if it's boots locked, you know, you're looking at maybe 30 seconds to go in and then mirror right out, and he's already got the mirror equipped, so he's ready just to get out of here. Yeah, when he sees that small key. Gonna double check, I guess, for the big key if it's in the or possibly an item here in the middle, which I think is perfectly fine. You've already walked this far in, and you get it's a clearable crystal now.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. The one thing that the players do know is that the boots are required for that ice rod that he's on the library. So they'll be found at some point. It had this been boots locked, but not just a compass in the big chest.
Yep. And looks like Hawk's gonna continue on to see this through. we know at least one item's going to be on the right side of desert. But with any luck, you know, it can just be a single dip.
Yes, as far as I've seen on T-Mobile side, nothing of consequence thus far in Swamp.
Yeah, it's been a pretty empty Swamp Palace, not even a sword, so the memes are failing us.
It's a disappointing day when the memes don't come through. Yeah, I'm of two minds when it comes to making this play here, the Landmo on Hawk's side. Primarily because it depends, I guess, how relatively comfortable you are with bow. Because the Master Sword fight is not super fast.
Yeah, I believe it's 4 spins per head or 8 slashes per head. And it's 4 bow shots, 4 arrows per landmo. Yeah, the developers made the Master Sword slashes do the same amount as all the Fighter Sword attacks against the Light World bosses to I guess punish you if you didn't get at least Tempered Sword in Dark World. The Hawk's doing pretty good. Got some good hammer shots in during a couple of those cycles, and is rewarded with that Tempered Sword I was just talking about.
Yeah, well, that works out pretty darn nicely for Hawk. Knows there's only one item left in Desert as well, and meanwhile T-Mobile cleaned up a pretty nice fight with Argus there, despite only coming in with Master Sword.
Yeah, that was very clean. Only took a hit or two that whole fight. And the big key on Argus leaving that chest. I did not see if the compass was found, or if that might be what's left in Swamp.
Yeah, I unfortunately missed that as well.
I just got word from our tracker Phyrie that compass was found. So
okay.
Oh, and I was mistaken. T-Mobile did not have the lamp because T-Mobile just did Hype Cave, so that gives us a much more clear picture of course you do with not having lamp or flute knowledge. Of course you do Swamp because it's what's available.
Yeah, absolutely. Hawk, we finally got to see Agina, and not much there, so Hawk is moving back to 4. Swamp.
Yeah, I think that's what it looks like. I would not make this play if you skipped Swamp earlier. It's only taking more time now to come back to it this early. But it is a clearable crystal. I for sure would have played up that flute. I know it's easy for us as commentators watching both racers at the same time, but I think knowing you can go and clear everything in the mountain except for TR would be real appealing for me.
Yeah, for certain. T-Mobile, using that nice knowledge that if you're coming around this area by the bridge here in Dark World, that you can just mirror in that shallow water and do that hobo check quicker than you can swimming around, especially if you're entering from like the bottom of Lake Hylia. So they get they get that mushroom that Hawk found a while back, and even when that gets turned in, they'll also have 3 bottles. But T-Mobile is making a play to pod here, which is a little bit interesting to me.
Yeah, well, and I think this again comes down to the lack of flute knowledge. It's you know, as far as they know, having found that that lamp, flute could just be up on the mountain, and you know, we've been talking about how it's nearly 20 checks up there. That I mean, you probably make the gamble that it is there. And the lamp also puts pod fully in logic, which is another crystal. So
yeah, absolutely. The one thing I would definitely be thinking about is, you know, what did the flippers get us? And in some fashion, it could just be for that Swamp Palace clear. We know that it is actually also for the flute that's on Zora Ledge.
Yeah, I think the question that kind of the big question we have is at what point does T-Mobile decide to do Zora area? You know, it is possible they could walk out of pod. I don't anticipate this, but they could walk out of pod to go to Pyramid Ledge and then all the way up to Catfish. But we see here that Hawke has skipped left side swamp and is heading straight to the back.
Yeah, in Hawke's position, I definitely think that this is a more viable gamble if they indeed opt to not return and do left side, because they have far more checks and things open up at the moment than T-Mobile does.
Yeah, I agree. I think I mean it's there's at least some defense to the skip, and as chat was pointing out, we had some live mentoring going on right there. I know for a fact that diver down setup that Hawke just did is Deep's preferred diver down setup, and he was able to talk him through that on the fly. I am pretty sure Hawke had never attempted that one before, so yep. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's really impressive. That's actually a setup that I have not seen, so that's pretty cool.
I believe that was one of the diver down setups that Lord Raiden developed a couple months ago. But yeah, it only works on that diver down in the back of Swamp, but it doesn't involve any of the jumping in and out movement. And we also have T-Mobile just powering through pod here. I did see a shovel come out of the U room there.
Major perk for Hawke here, having done Desert already, having that Tempered Sword. It is a quicker fight here, and gets through it pretty rapidly.
Looks like we also found the Cane of Burna. I'm guessing out of pod.
Yeah, that was first check.
But other than that, I don't see that and the shovel are about all we've seen out of there. I think now's a great time to remind everyone to give our runners and the mentors, my co-com and our tracker and our restreamer all a follow. Everyone's doing a great job, and you know, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for everybody involved.
Yeah, this tournament's really remarkable. Again, getting so many people involved, and again, I'd love to say anybody in the audience, if you are new to the game or just getting involved now, and want to get involved in any way, there are so many people who are willing to give their time and effort and help people get involved. I mean, and Gary up on the mountain is willing to give Hawke boots.
Well, it is confirmation bias, but I mean, I'm gonna just say, told you so, Hawke. Should have gone up to that mountain.
Well, as we know, those boots will give the players access to the ice rod, so TR wasn't going to be completable up here on the mountain anyway, and they still need plenty of stuff for that.
Yeah,
Fire rod, Samaria, and maybe a medallion, but
yep.
The ice rod, not a problem today.
Yeah, luckily no ice rod hunt for us today, so.
So I'm gonna head into Hera initially, again, get another crystal, with Hera Pot, the potential to get through it pretty quickly.
Yep, I think, yeah, it's a clearable crystal, fully clearable too. Everything's in logic, even if we do Hera Pot. And Hawke using the Raiden Pot setup here. I know another alumni from last year's Mentor Tournament, Breadcoon, has come up with another method, which I looked at, but I haven't practiced, and but it looks to be a completely free setup that probably should be taught to all new players.
Yeah, that new alignment setup that Bread's put out is pretty great. I've shown it to a few friends who play mostly casually, and they picked it up in no time.
So Pod not really giving us anything. It is really feeling like this mountain is just gonna be loaded here. I mean, of course, it is always possible that our Fire Rod and Kana Samaria could just be sitting in Misery Mire, and it would be terrible.
Yeah, there's not many things that are sitting out here for these players that, without the items on the mountain, would even be in logic.
Yeah.
Pyramid, you've got Graveyard Ledge, you have that Mire dip that's not presently completable. We did see Purple Chest, so that is, yeah, not too many things. T-Mobile.
Yeah, T-Mobile just had. I mean, this makes sense. You got the all the checks up here, and you have the logical access through the lamp. So, it might be a little while before T-Mobile gets that flute. There's a pretty good chance that flute's gonna essentially be go mode for T-Mobile at this point. Just based on where the items could be. And we're about to see the 7 checks in Paradox Cave here. And Hawke almost went in the wrong door. So one thing I wouldn't have hated to see out of T-Mobile is after getting those boots to do a save and quit, to just go and get that ice rod on the off chance you might find Samaria and Fire Rod right here on the mountain.
It turns out Fire Rod is right there for Hawke.
Yeah, so I mean, there's like I said, there's a really good chance that everything else we need is on the mountain. To answer a question in chat, yeah, Ice Rod is on Library Ledge. everybody's favorite enemy, Deadrock's just being in the way. And let's see, what do we have for our TR pennant? It is Bombos. So we need Bombos and we need Samaria to hit our go mode then.
Yeah, that is, you know, especially if Samaria winds up being here on the mountain, that could actually be good news for T-Mobile, because it would prevent a potential dip into Turtle Rock that could just waste additional time. Because again, as you noted, the key thing for them is when do they get back to the Zora area, or go there for the first time and find that flute. Moldo not playing nice for T-Mobile. Had that nice hammer set up for a while, and then the patterns just got ugly. But Hawke is going to clean up this mountain here with Spike Cave.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And absolutely, Moldorm just living up to his nickname, as you were pointing out.
And that was another fight too, where that sword advantage for Hawke definitely paid off. You know, one slash, one spin with tempered sword versus, you know, chasing Moldorm down for 3 hammer hits or 3 master sword spins.
Yeah, and so Hawke, I believe, left the basement alone. And let's see if T-Mobile does the same. And just bailing out. I did not catch if both items were found there or not, but
I want to say that one was left behind.
I believe that's correct. And we have the boots checks on Hawke's side. For a piece of heart at Pegasus Rocks. And gonna rush over to do King's Tomb. Lumberjack has not been checked by either runner yet, so... And it looks like T-Mobile now is going to head over to do East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, Hawke heading south from Kakariko, pick up his ice rod, and he does have the option to do that shovel check. Got as good a time as any to loop that in now.
Yeah, you're not getting any closer, and it's not going to be any faster other than using boots. So, but he is actually Hawke does not have the shovel. He has to go to get that shovel first. Yeah. So
good call. Good call.
Yeah. So I think we'll definitely see the pod play. So I guess Misery Mire. Caneless Misery Mire. We have Swamp Palace is Green Pendant, or not Swamp Palace. Green Pendant Ice Palace is fully in logic. Well, unless the boss is Samaria locked, but we have Hawke doing the 61-minute Saha Closet check.
That's one of those. we still have one item in desert, correct? On Hawk's side?
Yes, we do have one item on right side desert. I imagine that might be some cleanup here. I could see an argument for doing Eastern Palace, but you know, it's Pendant Eastern, and if anyone has it, they should throw Shady's emote for what he likes to do with Eastern in the chat.
The Eastern skippers for a reason there. Yeah, as you know, these options, this gets to the territory of things aren't looking amazing, and you start having to make calls based on relative density and sometimes feel.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's Rando, so there's a little bit of luck involved in every single game you play. So,
you know, especially on Hawk's side, Pyramid and Graveyard Ledge could relatively be tied together, but it's not fast to get to either as the first of the two checks.
Yeah, yeah, I also don't like Graveyard Ledges. Like, I would be totally fine with that being dead to me. Answer the question in chat. Yeah, both items have been found out of Skullwoods. Both our runners did that first thing, getting it into Dark Realm.
And so it will be interesting to see where T-Mobile opts to head after this, because you know, their options are even lesser than Hawk's without that flute.
Yeah, yeah, because they don't have access to desert or mire area. I could see, you know what we'll probably see is Swamp Palace, or not Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, with flipper checks tied in either before or after.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
The only thing that at this point I don't know if there's anything that would keep T-Mobile out of well, no, going into the Dark World. Is this the Pyramid Ledge to Catfish check? Oh, and then possibly loop Zora in that way. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a pretty, you know, as solid a alternate route as they have right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the only thing that makes Catfish even like somewhat okay. But yeah, that looks like to be where T-Mobile's heading.
Hawk on the other side, given a solid go at that hammer jump, just missed hanging on to that edge, and unfortunately starting from the top would have to go back to the rupee basement to reset the bridge.
Oh yeah.
So just hops to go in the maze, but yeah, hammer jump is definitely a technique that for me was very daunting when I first considered learning it, and with practice and mentoring, was definitely very rewarding to finally figure out.
Absolutely. We do have T-Mobile heading in to get Dark Cross. That was an item that was left. But I agree with the hammer jump. It takes a little bit to learn the visual cues and to get down the movements for it. But once you do, it can be nice. It is much more useful in key sanity modes, but can allow, with the right item layout, can allow for some smoother or just slightly faster routing in pod.
Yeah, one of the great things about this community too is, again, not only there's so many people willing to give their time, but there's so many different methodologies for doing things that you can try out different things and see what actually works for you. You know, for me with Icebreaker, Hammer Yump in particular, my setups are kind of like combinations of a couple things that I just piece together, but they work, and that's all you need.
And here we have T-Mobile held off on doing the boots checks from a save and quit to Sanctuary, and is getting King's Tomb here. I imagine will show GYL a little bit of love here. I guess someone has to. To answer a question in chat, it's too early to tell who's ahead. Where T-Mobile will probably be getting their flute soon on Zora Ledge, and that'll pretty much even us up with as far as progression. We're still looking for Bombos for TR. And we're looking for that Kana Samaria to hit our go mode.
Yeah, the one thing for T-Mobile is, again, get the flute, has to activate it. My impulse would probably be to do exactly what Hawke did at the outset, which you cited, which is head straight to that Desert Mire area. And if T-Mobile doesn't fully clear Desert, yeah, they doing pretty much the same stuff Hawke is, so Hawke's gonna have a little bit of a time advantage in being able to do unique checks, providing it's not just Pyramid Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, and I know Keebs had pointed out with boots that it could make sense to do to just mirror and do Eastern because you're here. The other option that I saw Keebs pointed out was go do Ice Palace, get the green pendant, and then come back to turn that in and do Eastern.
Yeah, those are two pretty solid options of things that, again, the players certainly didn't hope to have to do. But yeah, Hawke is making this play. You're totally justifiable.
Yeah.
You're here. It's, yeah, as noted, it's about as fast as it's going to get. Mine is silver arrows, and it's, you know, you hope that it wasn't a situation where you just didn't go into Pendant Eastern early and missed something critical.
Mm-hmm. So T-Mobile did that, did the bonk setup there after Catfish. It is not just for show. That is actually a way to put yourself on a quick warp spot. To when you use the mirror, it I don't know how many frames it cuts out, but it cuts out a few frames of the mirror transition. And if you don't move after if you don't move to the left or the right, you should stay on the quick warp pixel.
I'd never actually heard that explanation, so that's pretty cool.
And if anyone wants to know about different quick warp pixels, you can fire up the practice hack, and the practice hack will show you where the quick warp pixels are. And here we have T-Mobile heading to get his flute, and will assuredly go and activate it, and I'm sure pick up Ice Rod at that time too.
Yeah, T-Mobile will be able to get that shovel check done as well. That's another one that's been sitting out there for a little while, which will potentially be a benefit to him, as you know, Hawke is retracing T-Mobile's steps from earlier in the seed by doing Pendant Eastern that we fortunately know is possibly for nothing, depending on whether Pedestal is actually going to be in play.
Yeah, oh yeah, we gotta get our bonk rocks, and I'll be curious to see if T-Mobile decides to run up and check Lumberjack, well in the neighborhood. That looks like that's going to be actually exactly what T-Mobile's going to do here. I think this is a fine check. You have everything you need. Checks are getting to be really, like, options are getting to be really gross. So the knowledge is gonna can be useful, and it's just a piece of heart. So it is nothing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely like the timing of this, you know, and especially in a regular standard mode, open mode, no boots. Totally fine with bypassing the lumberjack check early, but yeah, as the options winnow, you do have boots, you have full AGA access if you want it. This is about as good a time as you can have to get that knowledge, and if it's AGA, then you know what you need to be doing.
Yeah, it's if that had been Bombos, it's you maybe don't do it right now, but yes, if the other nice thing too is about the thing that can be nice about doing AGA Tower is it just gives you 5.5 minutes to just, like, as you work your way through, to think about everything you have left and what you might want to do afterwards. So, well, AGA Tower, nobody likes an AGA Seed. It's not always the worst. It's not like Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, I don't think it can be really understated too, especially when you're a newer runner, that, even this tournament, which is, run by so many great people, it can be a stressful environment when you're not only trying to play the seed to the best of your ability, but you're working with a mentor. You're trying to, as we've seen on Hawk's side especially, maybe even work on a few methods and tricks within the seed. It sometimes feels like you don't have that headspace to really think through things.
Yeah, it's something I've been talking to mentees about too. Is as you work on your execution, that's going to be it's well. First of all, I tell them, like, I understand how stressful it can be to have someone talking to you as you're sitting there trying to pull off pixel perfect movements, to do different tricks. But also, as your execution improves, you free up your brain power from thinking about execution to just doing it, and so you can then think about routing and logic and the other things that the game entails. But we have Hawke here getting a couple new checks for us in Ice Palace with a big key coming out of Pengator chest.
Yeah, that bomb setup for getting rid of the Pengators was really impressive there by Hawke.
And it looks like he is going to go hit the switch, so the decision to of course he's going to hit the switch because we don't have Kane. So yeah, we will get to actually see the Ice Palace bomb jump, hopefully, which is it's a trick that doesn't see as much use ever since Icebreaker was found, but it is still a very valuable trick to have in your arsenal for the times where Kane just happens to be an Ice Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. T-Mobile has given us that right side of desert check, though, that we did not see on Hawk's side.
And it is our Bombos. Okay. Well, I think that limits our options of Samaria has to. It's either Ped, it's in Ice Palace here, or it's just in Misery Mire. I don't know if we have much else that hasn't been checked.
Do the players still have an item in Hera? That is the one thing that I'm not 100% sure on.
I believe there is still an item in Hera. I think you are correct. Yes.
Yeah, so things are. This is pretty interesting here. Where T-Mobile will opt to go here after killing Landmos.
And our tracker did just remind me that there is an item in the big chest of swamp also.
Yeah, neither of those are great locations that the players want to go back to. That is for certain.
And the key layout was such that Hawke has to drop down the hole and climb back up to go get to Ice Tea. This is a never feels good about going to to get Ice Tea this way when you've hit the switch or have to do the bomb jump.
Yeah, if Samaria's here for Hawke, though, would you bolt? Or would you commit to clearing?
I would probably bolt, yeah. Because that essentially... So, my thoughts would be Samaria gives me Mire, and that puts me back in the neighborhood of Desert, so that's 3 checks over there that I could wrap in.
Yeah, it would definitely be I think it would be justifiable either way in that situation.
And now I'm over here thinking about Green Pendant.
Yeah.
I would probably get Green Pendant, but I would go do Mire and Desert first before turning in Green Pendant.
Yeah, I would very much agree about that.
Hawke finally making it over to the right-hand side. And we have wrapped up Desert and Checkerboard over on T-Mobile. What is T-Mobile gonna do here? Looks like T-Mobile might be dipping into Mire. So I don't hate a Mire dip, especially when you're getting so limited on checks. The reason for it, if the big key is in a terrible spot, it's not that much time lost to go in, do all the checks, and then have to come back later with Samaria.
Yeah, I also like it for the fact that, again, as you say, the options are limited. They're not wonderful either. If you spike Samaria here in its vanilla dungeon, which seems to happen way more frequently than one might think for a 2-item dungeon, you're in go, and in a pretty decent position, I would be thinking at this point. And again, as you say, at the very worst, you can get yourself set up to just head to the boss if you have to make a return.
Yep, yeah, it is quite the fast trek to the boss. And we have looks like Ice might actually be Samaria locked. Oh, and here you have Hawke was doing a glitch where you can double up your fire rod shots. Well, the shell is still on cold stare. If you hit it with sword beams while the fire the fire rod is still burning, it will count as a second fire rod shot. And I've actually heard it works with bow also, but it's a much tighter window. So with that small key though on Cold Stare and the Green Pendant are locked by Samaria. So hopefully with Hawke and Deep will know that the only item that they could care about that's behind the Green Pendant is going to be the bombos for them.
Yeah, that's excellent game knowledge. And again, situations like that, Ice Palace key logic is not always super simple, but even if you pick up a few things, it can definitely help. I mean, I've had races in which, I knew that Ice Palace was hook shot locked, and it swung the race one way or another. And those little things come with time. But again, there's a lot of resources and a lot of people who are willing to help build that knowledge base for anybody who wants to learn.
Absolutely, yeah. And the green pendant was just some red rupees, so we are getting the 82-minute Ice Rod Cave check on Hawk's side.
Still feels too early.
I agree. I think you if something's there, I would say most people do check that early. I would probably just leave it and be like, if something's there, I'm already in a bad spot.
Yeah.
We're going to do our shovel check now on Hawk's side. I don't. Oh no, we saw T-Mobile do the shovel check, didn't we?
Yeah. It did not yield anything of consequence.
And we are heading to the last check in Misery Mire here. And what do we have? The Buckhead. Okay. So we are quickly running out of spots where this Samaria can be. I think if I'm remembering right, it is either Swamp Big or it is in Hera Basement.
Oh boy. Yeah, for T-Mobile, I mean, their best option right now would seem to be to head to Ice, which could open the door for Hawk to catch up. Hawk needs that small key.
Oh, I forgot chat's favorite. It also could be on Pedestal.
Could it
no,
be
it can't be. No, it can't be. You're right. Yeah, Ice is cane lock, so it cannot be on Pedestal. Yeah. So yeah, we are looking at I believe 2 checks. Where it will be. I would hazard Hawk and Deep might have a more incentive to go to Swamp because they did skip left side Swamp. But I anticipate seeing a Mire play from Hawk here following the Bombos grab.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the play that one would make in this situation, not only due to proximity, but again, there's not that much density anywhere anymore. And again, the value of spiking Samaria within Mire is great.
Yes.
But yeah, you make a good point that they do have additional incentive to go to Swamp. Again, neither option for any of these players is great. T-Mobile is likely to do the exact same stuff that Hawk did here in Ice.
Yeah.
And then it just comes down, I mean, yeah, it's just going to come down to race into those couple spots and execution, because it's fairly even at this point, really. Maybe slight edge to Hawk, I would say.
We'll be able to tell if T-Mobile and Crackerito are keeping track of that Samaria or the Ice Palace being Samaria locked, because once they find the last item in here and know that a small key's on Cold Stare, they will be free to just bail and go do other checks.
That's a really good point.
And that conveyor room just bullying T-Mobile around a little bit here. Oh, so here you go. Okay, so T-Mobile, I think, is just planning on doing this the vanilla way. I actually don't hate this, because you're hopeful Well, you can full clear it the vanilla way. You don't have to do the bomb jump, but you're hopeful that you get the item beforehand. So that's that definitely is going to speed it up here for him. But we're running through checks that both runners have literally just shown us, but on the opposite sides. I think probably another good time to remind everyone to give these runners and mentors a follow. They we have the mentors taking their time to help teach the mentees, and these mentees who are a lot of them real fresh to the game and coming on here agreeing to be restreamed. And don't forget to also follow my co-com Arya Stark, our tracker Phyrie, and our restreamer SoLastSummer. And give Lumaga a follow too, because Lumaga does a lot of work for the Mentor Tournament.
Yeah, please also give MrAngryPants a follow. Again, this has been such a rewarding tournament, not only participating last year, but it's been awesome to see that so many of us have come back this year to help mentor. It is really a great event that gets put on every year.
Yeah, I fully agree. I've enjoyed I enjoyed last year playing in it, and being able to come back this year and being able to mentor some of these new players has been great. So we now have Hawk and Deep Fried though are heading to the back of Skull Woods, and looks like we have a sudden U-turn. I'm wondering if they just realized that Samaria cannot be here, or cannot be on pad. Nope. We are gonna continue going through. It is possible they forgot about an item. Oh no, they need it. They need the key.
They need a small key. Yeah, because they did. Yeah, Hawk stole from the front too.
Yep.
Or stole from the back to go to the front, I should say.
And let's see what we have. Debate going on. It looks like over on T-Mobile's side, we almost had a mirror, but looks like nope. We do get the mirror. I believe they've correctly deduced that Cold Stare and thus the green pendant and the pedestal are Samaria locked. So we'll see what location they go to next.
Well, I think their aim is to go to Swamp.
Yes. Yeah. So a tip for all new runners: it is faster to flute to Link's house or save and quit to Link's house, and enter the Dark World, and then run down to enter the Dark World than to flute to 7. But yeah, I believe having with T-Mobile and Crackerito having deduced that green pendant and pedestal just cannot be the option. They realize I believe they're down to just the last 2 checks that we know it is then.
Yeah, I actually didn't catch it the first time that both players went into Swamp. I mean, Hawk skipped left side, which I think was justifiable. T-Mobile did the full thing, and with an item clearly here in the big chest, I think I probably would have been fully comprehensive and gone back in just to try to avoid this particular situation. I think definitely on Hawk's side, it made a little bit more sense to skip it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to think about it, because when you, what I always like to tell people, and this is actually something I got from Tracy M. She's a prolific commentator, but always likes to say, like, ask yourself, when are you going to come back to this location? And we see it as bombs in the big chest. So looks like our last location is gonna be that gonna be up on the mountain here, and it looks like Hawke is probably gonna be going to do Graveyard Ledge. I don't want to let down chat. It was a red rupee on pedestal, so we did get the ped pull. So to answer a question in chat with spaces, so if there is a small, so the vanilla way to do Ice Palace is to work your way through and to use the big key to go, what is it? To use the big key to drop down from the right-hand side, I think. And then you use a small key to hit the switch in the refill room to the right. So you can go back up to go to the left side and push a block down to push over the switch. And so, if that last small key is on cold stare, you can't do that. You could actually use all your small keys to unlock every door except for that one. And so what that does is that locks cold stare by Samaria. So the rest of the dungeon is still not Samaria locked, only cold stare. And so it only matters in an instance like this. It only really matters in an instance like this, where it's a green pendant, a regular pendant, or a red crystal. So anything behind those then becomes Samaria locked. Normally it's not that big of a deal, but this is one of those rare instances where it does matter. Yes, we should be seeing the big chest of Hera has our Samaria.
Yeah, couldn't be so kind as just to put it down there. No, gotta take your big key, go up top.
That's right. And Hawke doing these last few checks before dipping back into dungeons. And I imagine we will probably see a swamp from Hawke, and then heading up to and there it is.
Heading north first.
Oh no! Okay, so this is actually going to pay off for Hawke here. So it was at about 135.10 or so, maybe 15.
Yeah, around like 15. Yeah.
T-Mobile has hit go mode, and Hawke makes the right call. Hawke and Deep Fried are making the right call and climbing up the mountain here to get to Hera. So, and we have T-Mobile did just went straight to Meyer, which I think is the good play, regardless if you stayed to do T-Rock or not. It's a climb no matter what. So
yeah, I agree with that. Especially Meyer you're just coming back here to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
Both players have already been in this dungeon. They've already full cleared the first 7 chests. one thing we did see from T-Mobile heading into that mire area, there's a lot of like low water areas that can slow you down as you get a little more experience and you start learning like the dash lines there. There's certain pathways that avoid, potentially provoking the murder-dactyl on the left. But when you get more comfortable, there are definitely lines that you can utilize as a player to get to the entrances faster, which is, one of those great things to pick up from experienced players.
Yeah, and we have with Kaz boots in weeks 5, 6. If you want to learn dash lines, that's the week to learn them. So, then we have T-Mobile setting up the spooky action using the ice rod instead of the boots dust. And remembering that they did not need to use spooky in that first room because they are go moding it.
Yeah, very impressive.
And we don't get to see my favorite glitch, which is Prize on the Eyes, because we have all this really good gear that we're just gonna melt these small eyes.
It was about 2.5 minutes after T-Mobile hit go for Hawke. So it's a bit of chasing here, but this race is still very far from being over.
Yeah, so T-Mobile there decided on dash strats. I believe the dash strats are faster. Well, the spin strats are the fastest to kill the small eyes that way. But ended up running out of magic after missing a few of the eyeballs. My recommendation, if you have Tempered Sword and Cape, just do spins. I think it's 2 spins will kill a group of eyes. I think you have to hit them 3 times with spins, if I remember right.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's my advice. I'll give out to all of the listeners.
Yeah, and again, that's a strategy that can take a little bit of repetition and getting used to it. If you're in a position where dashes are still more comfortable, if you have Burna, that will burn the magic more slowly than dashing with the cape too, I believe.
Yeah, Burna is a greater drain for short uses, but a slower drain for longer uses. And I will agree with my Kokon that the best thing you can do when you're in a race is what you're most comfortable with, because a death does make everything slower. But yes, for practice, I would definitely recommend practicing spins when using the cape.
Yeah, highly agree. And in this situation, T-Mobile scaling the mountain haven't opened up the TR portal yet, so it's definitely quicker in this situation. It's pretty much quicker anyway if you don't get dead rocked to head to the TR opening, especially if you can avoid that mirror transition before you have to do it.
And we have Hawke here taking advantage of a I guess maybe not. It's not a glitch. It's working as intended. If you swing your sword repeatedly with the cape or Burna activated, it actually will drain your magic slower. And it's the game is not the best at doing 2 things at once. So when you're swinging your sword, it decides that that's more important than training your magic.
Yeah, I like to call that particular fight my scummy Vidi fight, and I have zero shame about it. Gets the job done.
I am right there with you. I will even do it with butter sword. I'll just walk up and just slash, and hopefully I hit the big eye a couple of times. Then I don't have to use as many arrows. To answer chat though, yes, Kane because it sparkles will cause more lag in that fight. If you have the option, Cape's your better choice, and those dead rocks are not playing nice with Hawke right now. He's finally able to make it through. But if you only have Kane, there's no shame in using the Cane of Burna to make Vidi easier.
Yeah, again, as you play more seeds, but you also play different modes, and you encounter bosses in different situations, being flexible enough to have different plans and being able to adapt, while also learning, as you know, the strats that are the most efficient in the situations you're most apt to run into.
Yes, absolutely. I will mention with Cane of Burna though, you cannot do spins, so it is if you're on Fighter Sword Vidi, which I never wish upon my worst enemy. Cane of Burna will not help you out in that fight, because you need to use Fighter Sword spins to add to damage Vidi in any way. And the Chain Chomps are just being the worst bullies on T-Mobile's side here.
Pretty remarkable. T-Mobile dodged about 4 potential chomp hits at the end there. They were doing some damage, locked him into tight quarters, and he artfully danced around them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think even on Red Mail they still do 2 hearts of damage. So they can still be dangerous.
And Hawke has made his way to Turtle Rock, is just a few rooms back now of T-Mobile, so it feels like he's closed the gap a little bit here. It will be interesting to see once these two players make it through this dungeon, head to GT especially.
Yeah, I think even we're probably still around about 2 minutes. Probably a 2 minute or so difference. That can be, depending on the big key location and the routing routing options that are taken. It can be within that margin of error. So
that was a really unlucky break for Hawke though. Accidental mirror before the second item on the fire rod locked side.
Yeah, and we know it's nothing, but yeah, you can't risk it being the big key.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes. It's the perils of quick swap and getting quick. We've all accidentally mirrored. I know last year during a restreamed race, I was in Thieves Town and accidentally mirrored in the back there. I had to come all the way back and do it again.
Yeah, and it looks like T-Mobile getting a little turned around and back on track there. And a good safety option there. Get the full magic refill on your way to Laser Bridge. I will point out for my friend Flip Heel, we are still shieldless at an hour and 45 minutes in, so I know that would make him extremely happy.
3 shields behind ice armors. We know we want that. Yeah, but that the TR Dark Maze especially is one that, again, as you become more experienced, you can potentially run into, because the higher level play sometimes does require doing dark rooms. One thing I've always advised to even like casual players is give the dark rooms a look. Not only have them on hand for when you're running a seed, but also the TR maze in particular. If you basically just trace out a map, you can get the understanding that there's really not that many movements that go into it. And it looks like has T-Mobile been 3%ed here with the small
T-Mobile
key situation?
has absolutely been 3%ed here. So this is the play that everybody makes. And there's a 3% chance that both the vanilla big key chest and the big chest have a key. So we got to walk all the way back to the big chest. And Hawke will be doing the exact same thing because Hawke stole the key. So, this this is always a feels bad.
Yeah, I think I'm actually in the minority here in that it happened to me once, and I do not skip the big chest in this situation. But again, the vast majority of the time, you're not going to get burned.
Yeah, I like I've never had it happen to me, but I'll always skip the big chest if I'm go moding it. I think I'm actually tempted to time it out. To answer Lumaga, the third of our teammates on Smells Like Troll Seed is Niobium Narwhal. And Hawke ended up going the wrong direction there too. But yeah, both runners getting that extra magic. I don't blame them. If you're not proficient with laser skips, either with boots or without, okay. So this is actually going to be a time save for Hawke. So oh no, it won't, because he's got to go outside up above. Yeah, I think there might be some rail clip you can do to get through to the big chest, but I don't remember. But yeah, so he'll have to go outside, so we won't be able to mirror back. I feel like I was in the middle of saying something that got distracted by Hawke taking the safety door there. Also a good thing you can do there is just fall off and use the iframes. The iframes will last long enough to get you through the laser also.
Hopefully Hawke has a potion. Okay.
And we have T-Mobile is on his fight with Trinex and is on a good pace here. Has taken a few hits, but avoids that attack and should be okay. Actually, lets the spin out and decides to do slashes. So
yeah, did a good job of keeping distance there to give himself very clear shots while low on health. So that's a very good job there by T-Mobile for crystal number 7.
Yep, we have all the crystals, and we are headed off to GT here. We'll be able to get a good timing of the of how far ahead T-Mobile is over Hawke. There's that small key that Hawke needs.
One downside for Hawke now, he does not have anything in his bottles in reserve in case he needs it for GT or the Ganon fight. I'm not sure what T-Mobile has left.
Yeah, it's I think with I think Hawke should be fine going through the rest of TR here, but yeah, GT can always surprise you here. And so we're starting with Hope Room, and we got a small key, so it looks like we are continuing to Compass Room.
Yeah, and I tend to start in Hope Room as well. One piece of advice I was given that if you're in this spot, if you're planning to go right off of that small key, start with the right chest and hook or go to the left because you're going to go straight down to the where you drop the block. It's a minor time save, but it all adds up in a tight race like this.
Yeah, so that is, we have 2 checks down so far. I did see some numbers get thrown in chat, so I guess I can do some counting. As Hawk finishes out Trinex here, we have checks. 3 is a heart piece, 4 is a red rupee, 5 is 50 rupees, and 6 is a red rupee. So, I believe Hawk's preferred routing method is Hope. Is you start in Hope, and then no matter what you get, you go full left. But we have what's that? Check 7 is on the torch. Is just a shield, so we get to dodge 1 shield at least. And we have some, on T-Mobile side, we do have some good quick swapping. Also good knowledge of that that small magic decanter there. There are a lot of pots in GT, and not many of them have much under them. But that was what, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Looks like Dylan Lee Gaming got it right with number 11, if I counted correctly.
Yeah, I believe you're right. So T-Mobile starting the climb. This is another room that, you know, again, as you get more comfortable, there are multiple different strats for not only being quick, but, you know, depending on your health situation, your gear situation, how to manage resources and get through it pretty swiftly.
Yeah, that first room, I like the strategy of yeah, so Hawk gets his mirror ready and mirrors. So Hawk's going to save a little bit of time here, catch up a little bit. Let's see. Oh, having trouble in Mimics 2. But gets through. So we're at a 153.37 exiting Mimics 2. We'll see if I can remember that number for when Hawk exits it.
Yeah, controlling the mimics can definitely be a challenge. It's definitely easy to want to feel like you're in full control of them for the entire time. But then, especially in mimics 2 like that, you leave yourself vulnerable to the BMOS.
Yeah.
The longer you hold that sword out trying to steer the mimic. So yeah, these rooms, the GT especially, a really great dungeon for the practice hack in my opinion.
Yes.
It's a low intensity situation, but you can do these reps over and over again in a dungeon that you most of the time only see at the very end of the game.
Yeah, and it's unless you're playing fast Ganon, you're doing this every seed you play. So it is like practicing the GT climb is a great thing to do. And Hawk having a little bit of trouble. There we go. And so he's exiting at a 155.02. So that's about a minute and a half. Was that right?
About a minute 25 seconds.
So we're still close enough that about anything can happen.
Yeah, T-Mobile very short on magic here. Gets to Landmos too. Two tempered sword spins per Landmo gets them down. I believe it's 4 tempered swipes.
Yeah, I believe that is correct.
And using the green here, I think, is a pretty decent strategy too. Just try to get out of here without going on for too long. There are magic refills on the climb.
Yeah, and so long as you can make it, and you do have the heart there, the good knowledge of the magic and the heart. We have Hawke making his way through the gauntlet at the final room. And was a good dodge against the Beamos there. Oh, Crackerito got bonked there into the pit. Or sorry, T-Mobile, not Crackerito. My apologies. Grabbing the heart, that's not a bad thing, especially if you already missed the cycle. You have all that time to just stand around and ponder life's great mysteries.
Yeah, both players more than set in terms of small keys up here on the climb. We'll be interested to see if either of them gives a look for silvers in the last 4 chests.
Yeah, I think there's no shame in fluffing for silvers. I think you know, they speed up the Ganon fight, but we have T-Mobile going along. I will point out in Torches 2, that bonk that T-Mobile did is slower than just walking, but it does look cool. So there is that.
T-Mobile bypassing each of the first 4 checks here. No, first 3, I should say.
Yeah, first 3. Yeah. And finishes out Moldorm 2 easily. And does get our last coin for Ether in Moldorm's lunchbox.
Yeah, we can go back and Ether the Stalfos.
Yeah, and it looks like I don't believe Hawke did the checks. He's doing that one now, but.
No, he did the mini Helma check.
He did do the mini Helma. Okay,
yeah,
so
it was nothing and a key.
So looking like the silvers are probably in the basement of GT. I cannot think of anywhere else where they would have been.
No, they effectively full cleared this game.
That was a good double hit there by T-Mobile on that pattern. And almost had the other double hit there, but I believe we just have one left.
The bumper's not playing nice with either of these players here.
There we go. Excuse me. And so we have essentially an Aga 2 fight separating these 2 runners.
Nice double start for Hawke.
And we have a drop down at 159.36.
And one additional edge that, again, that T-Mobile has is he does have that blue potion in the back pocket, whereas I don't believe Hawke has a magic refill.
Yeah, I believe that's accurate. So T-Mobile can can switch to Cape here and just slash away, and it'll be a 2-in-1 Ganon phase 1 and 2. And just like that, we are into phase 3. And Hawke drops in at about 2 hours, and it was like 22 seconds.
Yeah,
so,
48 seconds difference. So he made up over half a minute, but still, he's gonna have to either get a break or pull out some strong execution. And we've seen strong play from both of these players throughout this run.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is where being short on that magic is problematic. Hawke is pulling out the cape. I don't think he's going to be able to get through that cycle, though.
Was that silver hit on Death Mountain? Did I catch that right?
I did not see that, but if that's the case,
It has to be Mimic Cave or Ether or Mimic Cave, right?
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I would think it would be Mimic Cave because I'm not sure if the hints actually do say tablet, but I thought they might. Maybe somebody in chat would know that. They've gotten a little more specific lately.
And we T-Mobile did get the torch glitch and is deciding to use the lantern, playing it safe.
Yeah, totally fair. Especially, you know, again, if you're relatively new to the Silverless Ganon fight, trying to set up doubles and triples with the fire rod, and if you miss a hit here or there, all of a sudden you start getting into magic quandaries too.
Yep, and T-Mobile's doing a great job of not putting himself between the edge and the fire bat. That is how you get yourself knocked off in this fight. With Hawke now in phase 4, but T-Mobile has killed Ganon and is getting ready to cross the bridge. And there we go. T-Mobile has crossed the bridge. Get your GGs in chat for the winner, T-Mobile, with an official race time finish of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 40 seconds. And we'll
T-Mobile.
Yeah, GGs. We'll stick here with Hawke as he tries to finish off Ganon. Also, was a risky spin there.
Yeah.
And there it is. Hawke has also finished. He has killed Ganon and is getting ready to cross the bridge. As we wait for the fanfare to go, and Hawke has finished with an official race time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 26 seconds. So it was about a 46-second difference there. But GG's to Hawke. That was quite the race. And I think we're gonna see about getting them in for interviews if they would care to.
Yeah, this was a really impressive race from both runners. Very close throughout. We finally got some divergences. Yeah, and just eventually having to come back to some stray skips along the way. But yeah, really impressive.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely. I see we've been joined by Hawke, and see if T-Mobile cares to join us also. Yeah, I think this is you hear a lot of the veteran runners say you try to last locate faster than your opponent, and I think that this is one of those races that kind of came down to faster than your opponent, and I think that this is one of those races that
a lot of high level
that kind of came down to
all
that.
Very justifiable. And I was again also
a lot of high level play and routing. I think the skips were all very justifiable, and I was again also just impressed by how so many techniques that these players attempted, and sometimes we're even picking up on the fly. It's great.
All right, we are getting word that the T-Mobile has declined to interview, and also I got word from Hawke that that he's okay not being interviewed either without T-Mobile here. So I guess I misunderstood Hawke. I need to learn on my reading. Hawke is willing to join us. So. I'll get better at that.
I was a little surprised he's here in the room.
Yeah, I was just waiting. Yeah. He had mentioned before the race that he probably wouldn't, if we got restreamed, he probably wouldn't do an interview because he's German and unless either of you guys are fluent, I'm sure it might not go super well.
15 years ago I could have, but
yeah.
it's rusty.
So I guess what do you have any thoughts you care to share with us on the seed? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, no, I thought the seed was, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great. I feel like I did an oops all dungeons. We were Deep Fred and I were both talking. I mean, we were trying to play this aggressively, so we did quite a few skips at the beginning, leaving 2 items in swamp. We left Hera, and it was kind of on that last leaving desert too. I think it was on those last couple searches after we blind pulled Ped for nothing. It was okay. So which one of our choices that we skipped is where it is? So it was, I'm not upset. I think I played well, so I'll take that.
Yeah, you and T-Mobile both actually skipped several of the same things. He did do left side swamp, but he did skip out on the big chest. He skipped Hera basement for the big key and the big chest as well.
Yeah, I'm assuming he just got back up to Hera before I did.
He did. The one kind of advantage you had, or the significant one you had early, is you got that knowledge about the flute, and we were both really impressed that you made that attempt after getting those Zora bombs at the splash deletion to see if you could get it.
I couldn't. I've never actually gotten it, and luckily Deep was like, "Hey, we'll walk through it." He's like, "We got one shot," and I almost had it, but that first bomb went right instead of left. So
yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, there were a couple instances where we saw you stop and the chat and us were like, oh, we're seeing live mentoring right here in a race.
Yeah, we did. So we on the fly. He has a different bomb diver down setup than the one I'm used to, and I messed up mine. So we figured, well, we'll try his. Surprisingly, I messed it up, and I guess still made myself get into the pixel in time because I was able to do it. So that was something else, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it worked. So you did something right with that diver down. Excuse me. Yeah, we were. It was one thing we were discussing on comms is the fact that that Cold Stare was Samaria locked, so the green pendant and Ped could not have been Samaria.
Well, there we go.
And so we were able to it was a great teaching moment. We were able to explain.
I'm glad I was able to provide that. That's what this is all about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know me, I like to be long-winded, so it gave me a chance to do that.
There you go. Did you let Arya talk at all the whole time?
A couple words.
Okay, good. That's good. No, it was great. Hey, I'll be honest, this is my second year in the Mentor Tournament. So obviously, I didn't get where I wanted to last year. And, starting 0-2 this year is not where I wanted to be. But wins and losses weren't important to me this time. I'm really just trying to put myself in situations that are not the most comfortable. We didn't really have much come up this seed, so that was fine. But overall, like I said, I am happy that it was close. I have nothing, nothing to say about the seed. It wasn't like a terrible thing. So I wish I would have noticed the the logic for the green pendant, and maybe I would have bailed earlier. So, and then not killed Moth.
Yeah, at that point in the race, you were still looking for Bombos, and the green pendant could have been that. But yeah, it was once you had found the Bombos, you still had Graveyard Ledge and Pyramid Ledge that were outstanding.
Yeah, we skipped those two.
Mhm.
We there. I kind of was surprised at my decision to go do Catfish, but I wanted to loop it in when we went and got the flute. Because otherwise, I felt like that would have just been another one that we let sit forever. So.
Yeah, that was I actually really liked that routing decision to route in Catfish that way, because yeah, otherwise it is completely orphaned, with very little chance of getting back there, with unless you're going specifically for that check. So I thought that worked out really well with getting your flute on your way to get your flute.
Well, cool. Well, I hope it was at least fun to watch. So.
Yeah,
That's
I
what we
think it
did
was
for.
a great entertaining race, and the two of you you put on a great show. You both had great execution, and it was a nice close one. So thank you for agreeing to be restreamed, um, and I guess now I'll kick it back to Arya if you have any closing thoughts.
It's just yeah, I'm echoing what you say, Pants. I mean, this was a fun race. It was a close race throughout. It was nice that, as we noted, that flute knowledge and obtaining that flute definitely made things more interesting in terms of how things shook out, and it could have gone either way. It was awesome to see the instruction on the fly, and that bomb diver down, pulling that off when it's something you're not used to was impressive, Hawk. But yeah, this was fun. I had a great time commenting with you for the first time, Pants. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Phyrie for tracking SoLastSummer for the restream, and just everybody who's part of this tournament. Again, if you want to get involved, there are a lot of ways to do so. Join the Go Mode podcast Discord, and I was nervous getting involved playing and calming and everything last year, and I'm so happy that I did.
Yeah, make sure to give all the racers, the mentors, my co-com, our tracker, and our restreamer follow. And yeah, I think we've wrapped it up here, uh, and hopefully we'll see you for the next restream.
Thanks, guys.